Today, I'm challenging you to go ahead and watch how you speak to the people in your community. The folks at Clean Speech Colorado stopped by to encourage and support us as we take the challenge to do better when it comes to interacting with one another. Let's learn how you can get involved in the Clean Speech Challenge. Rabbi, it's so great to have you on the show today. We're talking about Clean Speech Colorado. So what exactly is Clean Speech Colorado, and how did you come up with this idea, and what do you hope to accomplish from it?
Thank you. The world is so divided right now, and the way that we speak is both the problem and the solution. Clean Speech Colorado is a community-wide 30-day education and awareness campaign to bring the community together in the fulfillment and practice of the art of Jewish mindful speech to create a more positive, respectful, and peaceful world. We saw the need even as early as last year, 2 years ago, many years ago, that there was a sense of a great political aisle that ran down through the middle, dividing our families, the workplaces, our communities, and we have a tradition of care and consideration about how we speak that can really bridge those gaps, bring us back together, and to help us to sensitize ourselves and practice a speech which will keep us together as a community, as families, and as people.
Excellent. And Rabbi, we also have an election coming up, of course, where the country has been pretty divided and has already caused a lot of anger and divisions amongst plenty of people. So what should people be thinking about as they respond to those they fiercely disagree with in person or even through social media right now?
I think it creates a real need. And I want to give a couple of tips that people can keep in mind to better navigate a difficult political season, election season. Number one, I think it's always important to keep the goal in mind, which is to remember that even though we may differ, and even though you want to try to share your values and your strongly held opinions about how one should vote and what direction the country should take, but we want to maintain, at the end of the day, our connections with one another, our sense of community. We want to be able to survive the experience, the election, the campaign, the conversation, and remain friends at the other side. So remember, number one, remember the goal, which is to connect, to continue to connect, even as we differ. Number one. Number two, I think that as the old saying goes, discretion is the better part of valor. And one should be aware that sometimes when people are very, very passionate, maybe we should choose with whom and when to start a conversation, especially as the election is very, very close. There may be certain people that we want to just not raise that issue with, or that issue, this or that issue with, and for until a time when things are a little more settled. That's a tip number two. And number three, just as another idea, might want to be very cognizant about the tone and the respect and the experience that the other person is having as we're speaking, not just blasting forward, and with blinders on, but really looking into the eyes of the person or persons we're speaking or communicating with and imagining what's their experience like, and are they interested in participating in this conversation the way that I'm carrying it on.
Excellent. All really, really great tips, especially like you said, right now through these really tough times. Now, for those who want to learn more or really want to get involved, how can they do that? And how can people receive the workbook and access to the program right now that you guys have too?
So we have a 30-day curriculum of lessons in writing, podcast, by video, daily videos. And the way to access everything, there's no charge, is to go to cleanspeechcolorado.org and sign up, and we'll send it to you right there.
Great. So easy. And Rabbi, for you, this is, again, such a tough time for so many people. How does it feel to be able to reach people on such a huge platform through this amazing program you guys have?
It's very meaningful, obviously. I spoke with one of my students this morning who said that this campaign couldn't come in a more timely way. He had just gotten off of a difficult conversation with his daughter over politics, and it was, very painful. And he said, what we need as a community is Clean Speech Colorado. We're already starting to put on our commemorative, our awareness bands. These little things work great for sensitizing us and reminding us to conduct our conversations in the way that we all want them to be. for the betterment of all of our relationships.
Yeah, I agree. I just put mine on, and every time I look down at it, it just reminds me to be a good person and really make sure that we are doing that as we are moving forward. So, Rabbi, thank you so much for taking the time to tell us about Clean Speech Colorado and to do your part to make sure that we're all being good people through these tough times.
Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Take the Clean Speech Challenge and make a change in your community. Due to COVID-19, Clean Speech Colorado will not be doing their in-person speaking series, but instead, you can enjoy 4 episodes starring the faces of today. Tune in every Sunday in November at 7 p.m. and watch them online at cleanspeechcolorado.org.